Hi, my name's Charlene Aldridge, and I'm being interviewed by Chris Gordon, who manages Hellblazer Biz.
Everyone, I have the pleasure of the company of Charlene Aldridge today. So, hi, Charlene.
Hello.
Hello. Finally got there. I know we've been trying to arrange this for quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
Going back a while.
Yeah, things just like get in the way, don't they?
And then, you've been filming your schedules and...
Yeah. Children as well.
Children, yeah. And pets.
Children. Oh yeah, pets as well. Got 2 cats, so.
Yeah, so have I. We've got 2 cats, and I've got an 11-year-old son. So yeah, I know exactly.
My daughter's 11, nearly 12, so I know you feel.
I say 11. He turned 12 yesterday, so he'll kill me actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Izzy turns 12 next month. So.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So they are about the same. It's a handful, I bet.
Yeah, no, she's easy. It's my son that's the handful. He's 5. He's nearly 5, and he runs rings around me. But it's this kid's for you. It doesn't last forever, does it?
No. No, you've got to make the most of it while they're in that age.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mine just sits on his games now. He's a lovely lad, but we just sit on his game thing now, and it's like.
I know. It's just computers. They're taking over the world.
They're
babysitting our children.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it is really. Shouldn't laugh, but
I know, yeah. I keep thinking we're going to turn out. What's that film? Which one is it? Is it Wall-E?
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
Wall-E. Yeah, they're all sitting. That's what we're going to turn. Yeah, we're all going to end up sitting on those chairs. I mean, I'm already the size of one of those people on the chairs anyway. I'm desperately trying to go, so I'm taking all the people like your advice, because you keep putting up great sort of motivational stuff about how you've done, so I keep looking at that as well and watching that and thinking, right, you can do it, I can do it. Let's do it.
She can. Anyone can do it when they put their mind to it. It's you don't understand the power in a thought. It's like, I remember years ago I was negative. I hated the world. I hated everything. And then one day, just something snapped in me. I thought, well, I'm thinking like this. That's why all this negative stuff's happening. Maybe if I change the way I think, then I'll get results and positive things out. And do you know what? It's true. And I will say it until I'm blue in the face. There is so much power in a thought. So, yeah.
There is definitely. I mean, as I say, mum was due to a wrestling injury about 4 years back, and I couldn't do anything for 12 months. And then I got into a situation where it was just bad thoughts, so I couldn't put myself through it. And then I was in London last year, which is it's a nice city, but it's a lonely city, isn't it? I was in a flat Monday to Friday, so I was with my family at weekends, going down on a Monday, Sunday night. Yeah. All week there, working in Croydon of all places, which is the most dire. Sorry, I know people are from Croydon. This is the most dire place on the planet.
Yeah.
I've
never actually been to Croydon, to be fair, so I wouldn't know.
I was there for a year, and in the space of a year, there were 5 murders within half a mile of the Home Office where I worked. Because I was on the 18th floor, and every day, I came back off lunch once. I shouldn't say talking, just random chattering, but I came back off lunch, and people were asking if I was all right, and I was like, why? And they said, because the Jury's Inn Hotel, which I walked past anyway to go to the shop. I'd walked past, and literally 10 minutes after I'd come back, I found out someone had been stabbed in the head. Literally, after I'd walked past there.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
Good, is it? No. Oh, dear.
Yeah, so lovely part of the world.
Oh.
But yeah, it's one of those, you get bad mindset, don't you? I was just slagged off Croydon. I was on the show the other night, and I think I've pretty much insulted quite a few people when it comes to with my accents that I was doing.
Oh, never mind. It's alright.
Yeah, I'll go for the rest of the world soon. I will take on world domination. No, I'm not like that. So. Except for Croydon. As you know, I've got questions for you, which we're going to talk through. Well, I say questions, I've kind of just written headlines, which I'll talk topics around, and hopefully we can get something out of that. And
of course.
I might talk for 15 minutes and realise there might be a question in there somewhere that you might actually that might be of any relevance for you to answer.
That's fine.
Excellent. So kind of who inspired you, or what were your inspirations to become an actress?
Right, well, I was 4 years old, and I played the Angel Gabriel in my nativity play. And it was ever since then when I see, like, you know, all like the mums and dads there and like all the kids in my school. So that's a ice cream van, late night ice cream van.
Nice.
So seeing all the kids in school and that, and just performing in front of me, it was so exhilarating, even at that age.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I just became obsessed with film, you know, like watching people on the TV and sitting there thinking, I want to do that. How can I do that? You know, and it's just been like that ever since. Sorry, my son's just opened my door. I just said that.
That's all right.
So just ever since then, it's just been a passion that I've always wanted to follow. So, you know, so that was my drive for it, and I've just been doing it ever since. I've shut the door on it for a few years when I had my children.
Yeah. But
now my children are growing up and stuff, it's just like I can't really shut the door on it anymore. I couldn't ever. It's always been there. So it's always been. I've got thespian blood, as you would say. You know. Yeah. So I've just been doing it ever since now, properly, for the last 5 years. So, and it's only in the last 2 years that I've actually kind of been progressing. Yeah. Which is great. So yeah. Can't complain.
That is fantastic. And you were saying shut the door figuratively there, and that you can't shut the door figuratively because you can't, because they've just opened there. They kind of fit perfectly there.
I know. My son always shows up in them moments. He's not happy at doing that.
Excellent. I mean, I know where you're coming from, man. That's probably why I've come back to what I do now. At the age I am, because like when I was in school, I loved drama, I loved theatre. I was always in the musicals. Drake the Butler, which is probably the only time in my life I got wolf whistled.
I wasn't in a position to go to drama school when I was younger, you know, because obviously my mum and dad divorced, and my mum's a single parent. She couldn't afford it. So what I did is, at the age of 12, I took on a paper round, and I've done it every morning just to save up so I could go to a workshop where I learned, obviously, like the basics and gain confidence. You know, into the arts and stuff. And I took on parts in every single school production going, and you know, so in a way, you could say I was winging it. Really, I'm winging it through this industry, but you know, it's just always been there, and I've never ever given up on it, and I don't ever want to give up on it, and I will never give up on it.
That's good to hear, and it is. I mean, I'm not going to knock drama schools out. As I said, mine was at school as well. I went through high school. I didn't do any of that, and I joined a little drama club when I was about 11. It's probably very similar to you. That was down in Watford, actually, because that's where I live, or I used to live, and was born. And it was at the Palace Theatre. That was one of my favourite funny moments as well. So it's just come back to me as you were talking about that, because we did a Blue Peter special.
Oh, right.
And it was the first time on film, and I was like, must have been like 10 or 11. And they used to call me Bilbo because I had hair. They said I had hairy feet. But no, that's but we did this Blue Peter thing, and it was my job to say, to do his one we made earlier.
I get called the Cockney Hobbit, so don't worry about it. I'm really short. Like, I'm like literally just on the cusp of 5 foot.
Right.
And I'm quite feisty as well, so, you know, Cockney Hobbit. Yeah.
Right, that's going to get put down. I'm going to write that down now, because I'm going to introduce you as the Cockney Hobbit.
Cockney Hobbit, yeah, there you go, see? It don't take long to catch on.
New hashtag coming your way, Charlene.
The Cockney Hobbit. Yeah, that's it.
I like that. That's cool. What kind of? Were there any actors or actresses that you who are your favourite ones at the moment?
Meryl Streep. Yeah. Meryl Streep. Yeah, she was. She inspired me from a young age. Like I remember her telling a story, like when she auditioned for King Kong. They told her she was ugly and she wouldn't sort of get anywhere through the industry and that. Then now look, and her versatility in every character that she portrays is just amazing. She does it flawlessly. I'd hope I can be in the same kind of category as her, because I class myself as versatile. So yeah, you give me a part, I'll study it. I'll really get lost in the character, and then I'll bring that to the table. And that's exactly what she does. So yeah, she's a big inspiration to me. Cool,
fantastic. She's very versatile. I mean, I've got to say, she made me laugh the other day. I think there's a tweet coming out. I can't remember if it's an old tweet or not, but her dressed as Trump. Have you seen that one? Meryl Streep as Trump wins the internet. She's just perfect.
Let's not go on down the politics road, Jesus.
No, that's the only bit that's going in there, because otherwise you'll end up hanging up on me in about 5 hours time, because I'll just be ranting.
Oh, don't.
I've actually got another show which I'm going to do, which is going to be a spoofy type show, and I thought of it the other day with someone sort of giving it, because I do my little impressions and jokes and stuff like that, and one of them, I'm not going to say it on here, but one of them came out, and it was just like, I've got to do a show of that, because it's, and then just like, just
whatever inspires you, do it. Everyone gets inspired by a lot of things, and then they end up being successful because of it. So always go with your gut.
Oh yeah, I did work out. I did say to this person, I said, if that turns out, if I did that and that suddenly went viral and started getting me, getting successful on the internet and stuff like that, I'll be really pissed off. I said, because after 3.5 years working on this show and working really hard to speak to the lovely people like you, and it's going steady, and then I'll do something stupid and it just goes, But that's what I see on YouTube. I mean, that's there's a lot of decent things out there on I think, and that's great for the independent circuit as well, for what we're doing now, and films like the one that which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Which I have seen. As well as, and you got Netflix, you got Amazon, and YouTube itself to put. Oh, sorry, I've moved my hands a lot. I don't know why.
That's fine.
It's like I'm a magician. On a rave, yeah. Oh dear, yeah. So they've got loads of outlets there, which I really think helps independent people. But I think it's just very difficult to get seen on places like they've got algorithms. I just dropped my head because I say my 12-year-old son, he sits and watches his YouTube videos of these people just playing a game or something like that, and I'm like, why? So that's not, I am going to knock them. I'm going to say I'm not going to knock them, but I do. That's not talent to me. There's people like yourself. There's other people who need to be seen and get stuff out there. And they do get seen, and you do get very, recognised and seen. But I think that needs to be shown more. And algorithms and stuff need to show. I don't know where I'm going with this. You know what I mean? They need, there is a platform out there, and that's what needs to be seen, and more of that, more independent, and focus on that rather than reality stuff.
Though? The best people to work with are the people that are just as passionate as you when it comes to film, like filmmakers, producers, directors. I've worked with Fabrication Images and Bulldog Films, and they're Danny Cotton and Matt Long. And do you know what? I can't fault them they're passionate, they're dedicated, they do everything properly by the book, and they need the recognition as well. They are the teams that need the recognition, definitely, because they are so good at what they do, and it gets overlooked, and it's a shame really, because people are just missing out on what could be a perfect product. And that's what I'm saying, you need to be around a circle that are just as passionate about it as you are. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, definitely. When I started doing this, I'm not just saying this is all about me, by the way. I just keep saying about me. No. I got introduced last year to the independent world a bit more, because obviously, I've supported independence since I started doing this. I actually did this on a show which got cancelled, and then I moved on talking to independent artists, and which got me inspired because, like you just said, the passion that everyone has together. And last year I got invited to Paul and Diane Knight's premiere, Landscape of Lies, last year, because I've spoken to him on my show, and I got down there, and people then started, as soon as I walked in, it was a family atmosphere, and people embraced, people knew who I was, because they'd heard the interview, and they were just like, Chris, we know who you are, come on. And they just made, because it's a passion that I have, like you say, I just felt...
That's what I'm saying, you radiate it.
Yeah.
You radiate it when you're passionate, and that people pick up on that.
Exactly. I hosted one for Patrick Ryder. I hosted his a few months ago now.
I love me, Pat.
He's brilliant. He's a great guy, isn't he? And I hosted his down in Mile End for the code and stuff like that. And again, it was the passion. I was so nervous, but the passion of everybody in there, because they didn't care, because they were all there for one thing, the same thing that I was there for, and that was the love of film and the love of independent film and shorts and stuff, and to promote each other and help. And it's just that it just boomed, and it's a feeling of feeling home. You belong, and I think that's something you really does have in an independent world compared to I mean, you get the big Hollywood blockbusters, which I'm sure everyone would want to be in.
Yeah,
yeah, because
well, that's the dream.
That's the dream, is to get there. But
yeah.
I don't think, in a way, they're the same as an independent film, because the huge budgets, you get snippets of bits coming onto set for different parts of it. You don't get that bond as much as you do in an independent film. I'd love to find out one day.
Yeah, I mean, with some big budget films, like, you know, Hollywood, if we're talking about, you do notice, though, even with, it's the same with the indie industry as well. You do get them circles that ones that work together all the time, like Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler, always working together.
Yeah,
you know, and who's the other ones? I can't think of the top of my head now, but. Yeah, like, you know, like Vin Diesel and like all the
Fast and Furious guys,
and stuff. You know, they all become family. You know, you do become family. So, and I think once you become family, that's when you get the best out of your film.
Yeah,
because everyone's all working together as a team, and that's the most amazing thing about it. Really, definitely. And that's one of the things I love about this industry.
It is fantastic. It's not just film. I mean, I'll give two TV shows as an example, which come on, like Lucifer and SEAL Team at the moment. They're on TV at the moment. Both the two of my favourite shows, but the bond that those guys have, because they're always doing behind the scenes shots where they're just joking around. They go out for meals together, they meet up together, and you know, and the SEAL Team guys are just the same. And they just have such. Proper family, and they work together, and they build the relationships.
Yeah, and all that creates the magic on the set. So you don't want to. If you get the 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey, for instance. That's why that took so long, because those characters, you know, Mr. Grey, or whatever his name is, and Anastasia, they hated each other in real life.
Yeah, I heard that.
Not a lot of people know that.
I did hear that.
They hate each other. And but they worked well together, and it's quite rare that you get that. But you see, it took quite a long time for it to come out. So, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because that chemistry's not there. You know,
exactly.
You've got to have that chemistry going on and on screen with people.
You can't do anything without chemistry. You know, you can't create the magic. And if there's no chemistry, then there's no film in my eyes. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
There have been some big films out there where it's been noticeable that people don't get on, and it's I've noticed it. Cool. Who would you love to work with as a director?
Pardon?
Who would you love to work with as a director?
As a director, Tim Burton all day long. The Weird and Wonderful. I want to do Weird and Wonderful. You know, I mean, he works a lot with Helena Bonham Carter. And she's fantastic. She is. Every character that he gives her, she portrays really, really well. Fantastic. And I'd love to be able to portray a weird and wonderful character as well. You know, explore that side of my craft.
Fair enough.
I absolutely love it.
Cool.
Tim Burton.
I'm not going to knock you on him, because I think he's brilliant. He really is.
He is amazing.
He's got a fantastic
absolutely
vision. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, some of his later ones, I'm like, a little bit, but even if I'm like, it's not going to knock the creativity behind him, because the vision of someone like that, to be able to think outside the box and constantly outside the box, you know.
Exactly.
And
you know, it's just his mind just expands, like, you know, to places where you wouldn't even think of, and he puts that in so beautifully in his film, and it's just amazing. I love it. I would love to work with him.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I was just actually reading a tweet just tonight, still talking about Beetlejuice. The Beetlejuice scene where they get up and do the dance, you know. That bit there has been one of the most. That's the one. That's been one of the most iconic scenes of any 1980s film, and it stands the test of time. And that's true. And that's part of the vision that he has. It's just he manages to get and make stuff that will last throughout time, and it's timeless.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing.
You just don't get bored of it either.
No.
There's not been one Tim Burton film that I've ever sort of watched the beginning and thought, this is boring. Never. I've been captivated from the start, and that's what I'm saying. He's a genius in that way. He knows how to captivate his audience.
And even in animations, like Nightmare Before Christmas. What's this? What's this?
Brilliant.
It's powder in the
air. It's brilliant.
I'm no singer.
He's amazing. He's a good guy, and I'd love to work with him. Hopefully, if you're listening, Tim Burton, it's actress here. Joke. I know you have to work hard for it, so I will.
Well, you are. I mean, that's a good thing, and that's what you just explained that already. How hard you are working, and I think a lot of people see stuff now. Again, I'll go on my soapbox. I won't stay on my soapbox. I'm just going to make it's like reality TV shows and stuff wind me up chronically because it gives a false impression that people can just go onto something and whoomph, they get famous like that. And it's
well,
like
if that's not the case, then everyone would be doing it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You're out of work more than you're in work for a start.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. It ain't for everyone.
No.
You've got to be passionate. You've got to want it so much.
Yeah.
Like myself, you know, you've got to want it so much that money don't even come into your head with it. You know, and when you do start making money, yeah, obviously it's a bonus, it's brilliant. But as a thespian or a creative artist, as they call it, it's just in you. You know, you can't let it go. You just got to keep fighting.
Exactly. I think something like 90% of actors are unemployed at any one time, you know, because of it. And it sounds horrible like that, but it's not. It's the truth. It's the harsh reality. I mean, and it's not just because you're not going to do any work then, because you've got all the auditions that you go to. You're preparing yourself for self-tapes. You do, you know, you're going out and pushing yourself even more and more. And even if you don't get then you still worked at it. You've that's another bit of that's how I see it anyway. I mean, I'd do that for job interviews. If I don't get the job, I just it's experience. Next one, I'll do too. You know, and it's how you. And I think a lot of people, like you've just said, people who've in it just for the 5 minutes of fame to get famous like that, they'll not last because as soon as they get that first, well, maybe not the first rejection, maybe after 3 or 4, because you can get a lot of rejections. I do on this show. I mean, you know, for every 100 emails I send, I'll get a great guest like you, which is one person out of 100, where the others are just like, you know, politely saying F off, or they just don't respond. It's like, you know, Sir Ian McKellen would rather not appear on my show. It were the exact words I got from his publicist. That was as if I'm going to get Ian McKellen on here. But, you know, but, you know what I mean? There's things like that and the rejection. And if you don't have that passion to push forward, then that, you know, the people...
Rejection is a part of learning, though. You know, if you get rejected, you just got to stop and think, right, what can I do better to basically, you know, make them, you know, actually sit up and look and think, actually, she might have something. You know, it's all about progressing. It's all about learning. It's all about working on your craft and even your attitude as well. Attitude is a big thing. Yeah. You know, if you go in there like, you know, all right, I'm here for the part. No one's going to want to look at you. They're going to be like, get out. You know, don't want to work with you. You know, you've got to show people that you've got something that you're bringing to the table. You know, and that you want, and that, you know, you want it. You want to work for it, and you will do everything you can to basically win that part. You know, win that part to show that you can play that better than anybody else. You know, and I know that might be a bit of say arrogant. It's not arrogance. It's you're all fighting for it. You're all climbing the same mountain. Yeah. At the end of the day, some are just further up than others. But so it's exactly the same.
It is, yeah. And I mean, I gave up my acting when I was 18 when I finished school due to the fact that it was steered in a different direction due to it being a very unstable environment, and you need to get yourself a proper job.
I had that.
Yeah, I went for that. I'm not going to knock my parents because they're the best interest, so it's not that at all. But that's the path I chose. But I think it's very similar to a job interview for me, because at a job interview, if I go further, it's exactly the same. I'm there to beat everyone else, and it's not. You have to have that certain. It's a bit of self-assurance rather than arrogance, because you have to know that you are the best, and you know, beat everybody else.
Yeah, you've got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in you, then how can anyone else believe in you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So you've really got to believe in yourself, and I mean really believe it, not just like say, I believe in myself. You've really got to feel it and think it all the time.
Yeah, you know? Definitely.
So I will preach my positive thinking and stuff until I'm blue in the face. It works.
It does. It's good, and you're right, because you go in there, you know, it's, whatever your mood you're feeling, however how you feel, you can project that on others. So if you go in there with a big smile on your face, I mean, I got told last week I was in me again.
It's alright.
I had a job interview at work for a permanent job. I didn't get it. I didn't have the experience that someone else had, which was fair enough. I knew that before I went in. But I said that to the lady who did an interview with me. She goes, "You're not really disappointed?" I was like, first of all, I said, "Yeah, I'm actually devastated." I said, "I went home and cried all night," and I said, "It was your fault." And she was like, I said, "No, So I just laughed. I said, no, I'm seriously. I said, things happen, blah, blah,
Can't
blah.
laugh, you cry.
Exactly.
So,
And then I turned around and I can't remember what she said. What she said? Oh, yeah, she found about my age. And she said, my God, I thought you were like 10 years younger than what you said. I was like, really? I said, it must be the way I smile. And she goes, yeah. She goes, that's one of the most endearing things about you. She goes, you always smile it and you always portraying a happy, confident personality. And I was like, and that, I thought that was amazing. Because where I was previously in London, I wasn't.
Puts everybody at ease. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
Always puts everyone at ease. If you go in there with a proper face on and stuff, you're radiating. Yeah, you're radiating your attitude.
Yeah.
And like people are going to think like, well, no, I'm not sure about her. Or
Exactly.
sure about him. So you always smile. Whatever's going on in there, just always smile.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, like a Cheshire cat all the time. Well, not all the time. My family can testify that that's not the case. Oh gosh. Right. Okay. So Daniel Brooks on this sort of topic is, what's your ultimate goal?
Hi, Daniel. Sorry.
That's all right. Say hello. Yes. What's your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal.
Yeah.
My ultimate goal, obviously,
is to
live. Yeah, is to live the way I am, just chasing them goals. Say chasing them goals. Yeah, I want to do this all the time. I want this part of my everyday life, which it is anyway. And I would be lying if I said I wouldn't want to hit the blockbuster films. Because I do.
Yeah,
that's big projects and stuff. You can just expand your craft and everything.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, of course, that's the goal. But that don't mean to say that obviously I just want to be famous, because fame ain't. Do you know what? It's a side effect that comes with it if you do well.
Yeah.
I couldn't really give a stuff about the fame. I just want to do this every day, and that's my goal. That's like just chasing the dream positively and staying focused, and then I'll get there. So yeah, that's my goal. Get in the big films. So,
And that's the exact attitude. I mean, I've talked to you. You're about the 153rd person I've talked to on my show. And that is the exact attitude I've heard from everyone. And it's a great attitude to hear, is the fact that you're not in it for the fame. Yeah. And the words of advice, and there are people who've been on my show, various levels of their, whether independent or whether I've been lucky enough to get someone who's been lucky to get on in a US show and stuff, and it's always the same thing. It's like they're not in it for the fame; they're in it because of the passion that they have. And the people who do go in it for the fame, like we've just been talking about, and like I was ranting on about reality stars, they just go and fall off, and fall at the sidelines, because they want the big things. They want the big fame. Fame can be nasty if you haven't worked for it.
Oh yeah, of course
so much so.
And I mean, not being funny, no disrespect to any of the men out there, right? Mm-hmm. But this industry is quite male dominated.
Yeah. Not going to disagree with you.
And so with women, some women, right, that haven't sort of done their research or anything, they'll give up their arse in the name of a part. Sorry to be blunt, but that's exactly how it is, right? They'll give up their ass in the name of a part. And the thing is, it's just, that's a bad move straight away. Because, yeah, you might get famous really quickly, or you might get well known for, but that's all you're going to be known for.
Yeah.
The thing is, you've got to keep don't ever do that. Keep working, and keep building on yourself, your own mentality, your own craft, and then it will last longer. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah,
no, that's great to hear. I mean, the women in film thing is, you're right, it's very male dominated. It's getting changing. It's slowly. Slowly. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more female roles out there which are fun. There's some of these shows
which I hope to create as well. I'm trying to create some more sort of female. Not that I'm a feminist, because I'm not at all. Because that'll just be like having a film with just women and no men. There's nothing like that. Yeah. No, but you've got, it'll be just nice, obviously, with having a team of women sort of directing, or for the cinematography, and and getting really strong female characters that are being portrayed and stuff, and they're leading the film instead of the guys. And as I say, it sounds really horrible when I say it like that. I don't mean it in any way a horrible way to the men out there, but
captioned.
Yeah, the girls are starting to step up now, and it's good. you know.
Yeah, no, it is good. I mean, in the role they are, like you say, I think there's a lot more. I think it should be more. There's a lot more space for female writers to come in.
Of course,
I definitely and female, as well as actresses, all across the board. But there are strong. I mean, one of the I've seen the film recently, and it's obviously getting pressed for the bad reasons because the theory Darwinism at its best has managed to encapsulate the people from this. What I can't even remember the name of the film now. Oh, what's it? Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Oh, Bird Box.
Yeah, that one. Couldn't remember.
Yeah,
I was going to say Blind
Fox,
haven't you?
I haven't watched it yet.
But she's a really strong female lead in it, and obviously, most of the time she goes through and she takes the film, and it's great to see that because even a few years ago you wouldn't have a woman in that sort of role, and which is totally wrong. But it's learning, and we're getting there. I think. Still slowly.
That's what I'm saying with the times. As time goes on, things change. And I'm happy about that change.
Yeah.
About women, taking more of a role into the film industry. Not as in like on camera. I mean like a role as in behind the camera, and not feeling like that she can't say nothing because it's male dominated. You know? And as I say, it's making me sound really horrible saying that, and I don't mean it like that because there are the men out there that the actors and the filmmakers alike are fucking really good at what they do.
Yeah,
they really are. But it's time's changing now. So give the girls a chance.
Exactly. I mean, and again on this show, I've had quite a lot of talking a lot of female filmmakers as well as actresses, and it is great to see and hear the passion through there. I mean, got Katrina Gray, Nadia Jordan, For the Love of George. That's a female-led one. You might like to know as well that she's driven that, and that's she's coming on again in a couple of weeks' time, to talk about that because it's a great. Yeah. It's a great. I think it's a great time to be in as well because you're in a renaissance of film and a renaissance of the industry. In that it is waking up to the fact that it needs more women, it needs more people of colour to start taking those roles and realising that they are talented people out there. Why have we not been letting them reach the heights that they want to reach to?
Just at one thing, let them explore other sides.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the guys do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's starting to happen now. And as I said, it's brilliant. And I hope to do that as well. I want to play stuff like from the rough council estate mum up until the really posh mum. You know what I mean? The really posh woman that I don't know has got lots of money or something. Just something like that. I want to just go from one scale to the other.
Exactly.
And just explore everything. And I will, and when I do, I get really lost into a character as well. I'll start thinking of a backstory. It's mad, really. I start thinking of backstory of the character, and then I think, right, well, how did that make her feel, and how does that come into her how she is now in the script, and then I think of all that, and then I put my own spin on it, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. If it don't, you just work harder on it.
Yeah, see, that's perfect. That's a very common question people send in for me for people is if they've had even if they've had a part role in a film, in a show or anything like that, is what was the backstory? Did you make up a backstory? That's a very common thing, and a lot of people just sit there and go, no.
No, but there's more to it than just reeling off, remembering and reeling off dialogue. Yeah, do you know what I mean? A lot of people can do that.
Yeah, a lot of people have answered positively to that and said, but there have been some where it's just like, no, not really. It's just getting on, and they work out what's happening around them and where it's come from, but not a full in-depth backstory as such.
Exactly.
But I think it's good because even if you're on it for 2-3 minutes, there's still a reason why you're on it, and there's still a reason why your character is behaving that way.
Exactly.
Excellent.
It's all about putting the effort in.
Yeah, it is.
Putting the effort in.
And moving on from putting the effort in, Ryan Shield, he says you're always on the move. I'm taking it these are all friends of yours as well because he said you're always on the move, making a great success and getting amazing results. What drives you every day from the moment you're working? What is it that pushes you to get where? Well, we've kind of gone over it as well, but I thought I'd focus it in one question.
What pushes me, as I said, it's just that positive thinking. Years ago, I used to be really, really negative. I was a complete opposite to what I am now. I was quite. How do I put it? I even ate wrong. And I looked at people. I judged people. I was a horrible cow. I was. No, I was. But I will be honest. I was horrible. I hated the world, but I had reasons for that.
Right.
But I think having children and that changes your way of thinking as well. And then I just woke up one day and thought, I can't live like this no more.
Yeah.
I've got to change this. So I did, and I started thinking positively, and I started researching law of attraction and stuff like that. And do you know what? It has changed my life dramatically.
Yeah.
And I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm positive. Even if something negative happens, I think of something positive that follows it. That's how I think.
Yeah.
I can't think like even if I wanted to think negatively now, I can't. It's like it's become a habit, and that's what it is. Empowering a thought. Make it your habit. Make it your daily life's habit, and then you see everything change. And as just answering his question as well, what drives me are my children and living a good life. I'm not talking materialistic or anything. I'm talking about mentally, because I did have depression, and I do still have a little bit of anxiety, but that's slowly just going now because of the way I think.
Yeah.
So,
and you do. It's a really good way to. It's a great thing to put across in positivity, and I think a lot of that. It does get lost in today's society because there are, I'm not going to touch on it, don't worry. But there is so much negative crap, and people,
there is.
I mean, I hold my hand up. I've been drawn into it before, but then usually I'll just pull myself straight back out. And it's like, no, what's that? Seriously, why do I need to bother commenting, or why do I need to put something?
If you see something like that, like with me, if I see something like that, I look at it, I acknowledge it, I accept it, but then I move on.
Exactly.
Simple as that. I won't put time on it though.
Yeah.
All I'll do is acknowledge it and accept it, and then I'll just move on.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm trying to do at the moment, especially on Facebook, because they're full of crap.
Anyone can do it, and if they put their mind to it. It's mind over matter.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's how. And you're right, because you can influence how others feel about you, about themselves as well, just by being positive and exuding that positivity.
Yeah.
And it is great. I mean, I'm trying to go back. My dad used to be a minister. He passed away 10 years ago. But if I had the ounce of integrity he has from that, because I always saw him as that kind of a person who would push that positivity out, and the amount of people who were influenced by him, across was amazing. And it was purely because of that positive mental thinking of how to, pushing it out. And it definitely works.
Like the way I see, even going back to how I used to be as well. Like, you're thinking negatively, it starts coming out in your body. You don't want to do anything. You procrastinate, and you just you're just a shell of yourself. And then when you flip your thoughts around, you want to start eating better. You want to start taking care of yourself. You want to start going to the gym. You want more out of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. It's I can't stress it enough. Everybody needs to live like that, because it will change your life, and it'll probably change the world as well.
It will do as well. I think that's much more. That's what's needed. There's too much negativity, too many people thinking that way, and too many people with hate in their hearts, and that's not how it should be. It should be the total opposite, and go out there.
They're relying on another source. That's why you can't rely on anybody. You have to rely on yourself.
Yeah,
that's the first protocol.
Yeah,
you have to rely on yourself and nobody else. You have to get yourself out of that pit. You have to get yourself out of that depressive mindset. You have to get yourself out of, everything bad, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And then change it. That's what you got to do, and you will see the results. I'm proof. I'm proof. Because, as I say, I'm proof of it.
Exactly. I mean, there is actually a song from 30 odd years ago which I love, and I love listening to whenever I'm feeling. And I mean, Michael Jackson said it perfectly. The Man in the Mirror. I want to make a change. It goes once in my life. What do? You look at you look in the mirror. That's where you make the change. That's where that change happens. You want to make the world better. Look in the mirror. Start with that.
And self-care as well. People can't differentiate vanity to self-love as well. So let me explain this. Vanity, obviously, is just caring about your looks and what other people think of you, and what you want to portray to the world and stuff. Whereas self-love is not caring about what other people think. You care about how you think, how you feel. And if you feel good about putting some lipstick on and straightening your hair in the morning and then flicking it around, then you go for it. That's up to you. But that's what people can't differentiate. And I've had it myself, where I've had people go, "Oh, you're just vain. You just want to be famous and all that." And it's like the whole ignorance of it does frustrate me. But you've just got to accept that people will some people will say that about you. You've just got to prove them wrong, really.
Exactly.
They don't understand it. People don't understand it very well. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I understand totally. I mean, if you've seen the pictures of me on Facebook, you know that I'm not vain.
No.
Like, but I know, that's like I've got the same. I'm where I am. I mean, I've long past caring about that, but okay, a little bit still does. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the smile, my personality. That's what wins people over. How I'm feeling in myself.
If you're happy, then that's all that matters, mate.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you are happy.
Yeah, which is why it's like sometimes, like I say, when the show doesn't do so well, it's like going and maybe not many people listening and stuff like that. And I have actually turned around on Twitter and I've said a couple of times, you know what, stuff it. If you lot don't want to listen, what makes me happy is talking to people like you and getting that. And if 0 people listen to it, who gives a toss? I've had a great hour. I've probably wasted an hour of your time because if no one's listened.
But no. Conversation.
That's what I mean. No, it's like theoretically, that's if no one did, then that would be the case. It would still be that it'd be a good. It's about making yourself happy, making sure that you're happy, and that those you love, like your family and your kids and stuff, are also happy, and they grow up feeling the same, growing up in that same vein.
I push that on my children. My daughter has adopted the positive, like living and stuff. She even has shirts like "Believe to Achieve" and all that sort of stuff. And she goes as well. And she even says, she goes, "I'm always smiling at school." She goes, "And it makes people feel at ease." And I said, and that's what you've got to do. I said, if you can't be the sunshine, be the mirror that reflects it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice saying,
that's what I like to tell her, and she's adopted that, and she's just the sweetest child ever. And I want her to grow up still having that mindset, because I never had that at that age. And the amount of things that she's done in school as well, like, the teachers tell me how well she's doing and how helpful she is and stuff like that. That's just creating her success in the future. So I couldn't be happier.
Definitely. That's how we
I've say radicalised her. I wouldn't say it like that, but I've pushed it on her. On her. But I'm proud of her.
Oh, so, no, that's how it should be. Same with my little lad. So we pushed him with the values of that, giving, sharing, caring. I mean, it's been times, heartwarming times. I mean, when we've been really skint, and all of a sudden I've asked, and he come down with pocket money, and he'll go, "Here, you can lend my fight because I've got some pocket money I've saved. You can have that if you want." I was like, and I was like, it's because he was trying to keep the things happy and smiling. And it's great. It's a great feeling. So Mohammed Khan, or Mohammed Khan.
Hi, Mohammed.
as his name was. What would your superpower be? I've got a feeling I know exactly what that would be.
Well, what do you reckon it would be?
Exude your positive.
It
would be the zap positivity.
Like Superman with his red eyes. Positivity everywhere. That'd probably be my superpower. Just making everybody smile.
Excellent. What, cool. And what would your theme song be?
My theme song?
Yeah, it's a weird one, this.
Oh, God. I don't know. I suppose Walking on Sunshine. That song. I'm walking on sunshine. Yeah. That one. Yeah. That's my theme song.
Katrina and the Waves.
Yeah. I can't remember the singer of it, but I just remember my mum playing it when I was younger, and her just dancing around the kitchen and stuff. And she was like at her happiest when she had her music on, and I just remember that song just sort of sticks out because she was just dancing around and she was so happy. She radiated it.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd pick that as my theme song. Yeah.
Nice. Good song as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So moving on to actually promote the show, and the first thing that you've done, it's 45 minutes to get to where to the actual promotion for you.
That's fine. Great 45 minutes.
Broken Promises. Now, this is a short film that's come out. Obviously, I mean, it's fantastic for starters.
Thank you very much.
It was really well done because obviously in a short you've got to get a lot of information and a lot of feeling into that tiny amount of space to get across what people sometimes put in an hour and a half. And it did. And to me, it worked perfectly because you got that balance right. You knew exactly what had happened because it was one you wrote, you produced it, and you acted in it as well.
Yeah.
And everything was great. I mean, I saw I recognise Ray Whelan in there. I met him last year at Patrick's, and he's a cracking
amazing.
character.
He's brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant.
And Matt, obviously, as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we've also got my best friend in it who played the midwife, Claire Guy, and it's actually her birthday today. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And also
belated one by the time this comes out.
The little, and obviously the son is actually Claire's son in real life.
Oh right, cool.
Who also wants to be an actor, and this is his first ever experience on
really.
On camera.
To be fair, you wouldn't have thought that because he was really good.
He's excellent. I mean, he was the Mad Hatter in one of his school plays, and that was what made me want him in my film.
Yeah.
Because I saw his performance in that, and I was like, wow, this kid has got something.
Yeah.
You know, and he really has. And I hope that this short, as well as obviously showcasing my skills, it showcases his skills too. So it's not just all about me; it's about Ryan as well.
Yeah.
You know. So about all of us as a team, really, all of us that made it. You know, Danny Cotton directed, Matt Long produced, and obviously starred in it as well. And you've got Adam Sturman, who's a cinematographer on it, and I've also worked with him on a couple of things as well, at Shift. No More Lights in the Sky as well with Danny Cotton. So we've worked together before. So this, we called it the A team, dream team. You know, all of us coming together, everybody passionate about the same thing, and that is what made the film the way it is. All of us working together as a team and having that result. So it's just brilliant. You know, and I'm really, really glad that people have actually took the time to watch it and they like it.
Yeah, no, it's a good. The story's there. It's a quite poignant story because it's quite fresh in a lot of people's minds because this has obviously happened quite a lot to a lot of families.
Yeah.
And recently with all the wars that they get sent to and everything like that, so it is a very poignant. I'm not going to spoil it for people. That's right. I know I've got. It's like there's part of it, and I keep saying, no, don't say that, don't spoil.
It's all right, don't worry.
But yeah, I mean, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, basically, I was sitting there and I was watching some YouTube videos, and it was obviously about soldiers coming home, surprising their loved ones, and they were coming home. And then it just went from there. I just had my pen and my paper, and I was just writing down some ideas and that. And I was thinking, instead of it being like that, maybe do it with a twist. You know, being reunited with someone, but with a twist. And then a lot of people probably won't get this, and I will give this away, but I'm an American woman in it. Hannah is an American woman, and Harvey is Irish. So, and they both come to England, separately. You know, they're both foreigners in the English lands. They have nobody. They have no one around, for them and that. But until they meet, they then have each other. But then, for then that to be just ripped away, and you're just stuck where you I'm not going to give that bit away. But you're stuck where So that's what I wanted, because that does happen. It can happen, and who's and as I've thought as well, why do I have to make them English? You know, why can't I just have one person from one place and one person from another place? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and that's what I did.
Excellent.
So that inspired me, just those little YouTube videos, and then it just all came out after that. It was just came out in spurs, bang after the other. I'll do that one. I'll write that bit. That would sound good. Just like that.
Cool. How long did it take to film?
It took about 2 weeks, I think. So over 2 weekends we did it. So from Friday to Sunday one week, and then from Friday to Sunday the other week.
All right, excellent.
We done it quite pretty quickly, but we spent a lot of time on it. Preparing for it, the read through, getting all the licenses and stuff sorted out. I mean, I had no clue about that. So this is just how much I did not know about that side of the camera. And I've learned so much because of those guys, and I can't thank them enough. So I know now what to look out for when I'm going for parts. So you're always learning. You're always learning. And as I say, writing as well, I've written a few things, but I wrote this and I showed Danny, and Danny was like, you've got to do something with it.
Yeah.
You know, so I did. I took that. I was brave, and I took the plunge, and I made the film. So
and it's paid off. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Well, it seems to be doing well. Haven't you been nominated again? You've been after a couple of nominations.
Yeah, official selection from Minefield Film Festival. I can't say the word.
Albuquerque.
That's the one. Yeah, Albuquerque.
Yeah. I should have taken a left at Albuquerque. Do you remember? Oh, you're too young for that. Bugs Bunny. You don't remember the Bugs Bunny cartoon, didn't you?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, they'd gone out somewhere and they were flying all over. And then Bugs Bunny, they got lost, and Bugs Bunny was just like, I told you we should have taken the left at Albuquerque. that's how I've always remembered it. Not that was Bugs Bunny's voice, that was a really poor...
Yeah, what's up, Jack?
Yeah, that's the one. I could do Kermit, Yoda, Swedish Chef, but not that.
I'll do a good Donald. Lois from Family Guy.
Oh, go on. Actually, no, I'll save that from the last question.
Right, ready? Oh, Peter. Just that.
That's perfect. I'll leave mine till the end because I've got a question for you at the end.
Okay.
Excellent. What am I looking at now? I've lost myself now. Yeah, so obviously Broken Promises it's out there now. People can look at it, people can watch it, and I highly recommend people do. It's 14 minutes long, something like that, if I remember right, yeah. So it's definitely worth the watch. It's emotional as well because obviously, you know, especially if I'm very military minded in that way anyway, so I've always, I'm watching SEAL Team at the moment, for example, and there's been scenes where that kind of thing's happened, and like Band of Brothers, I'll be floods of tears most of the way through.
Brothers, it's brilliant.
It's the most phenomenal war. Yeah, you probably love SEAL Team, to be fair, because it's obviously about modern Navy SEALs, but it's very family and stuff like that. But yeah, Band of Brothers, I was crying my eyes out. It's just absolutely phenomenal, and anything to do with that sort of military, the pride and stuff like that. It's like. Sorry, I just had a text pop up on my thing just saying I fed the rats. Most surreal thing I've ever seen. I just came in the corner and I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, so that, you know, very surreal, and obviously, so watching Broken Promises, it does, you know, it's something that I always find emotional watching that kind of thing going through, and it's good, and it does. So there you go. That's kind of makes you smiling there now because you've seen that it's affected someone in that way, which is how you obviously wanted to portray it.
That's what I wanted it to do. Yeah, I wanted to create something different, you know, and something different, something that could happen and stuff as well, but that really sort of like captivates people. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so far from the people that have watched it, they've said just that, and so. It's kind of like I feel like I've achieved something, and it's an amazing feeling. You know? I
can imagine, especially your first time, your first outing.
It's my first ever bit of writing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and people have like, you know, have been touched by it. It means the world. It really does.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it just makes me smile. I had no words. No words.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you're working on at the moment that we're coming up that might come out soon? I mean, you mentioned No More Lights in the Sky, which I know that's actually done really well, hasn't it? It's 8 awards that's won.
Yeah, I mean, that's done brilliant.
That's done really well.
Amazing. Yeah, and obviously I've watched it myself, because and me being in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? It's very thought provoking. So, and it does captivate you, and it does make you think, as I said, and it's so it should do well. It's an amazing story.
Cool. So, excellent. Yeah. And anything else that you got working on?
Right. Well, I've just been cast in 2 films and a web series.
Excellent.
This year already, and it's not.
I know it's
February.
Not.
Yeah. So that's good. One's called The Drugs Game, by Clark Tribe, and that's a really clever story. Like, you know, it's not like your typical gangster sort of film. It's been cleverly. There's like a clever thing with it. You know, I can't really give too much away about it, but yeah, that's good. And then I've been cast as a sheriff in Minds of Darkness, and that's written by Mohammed, who just asked me that question earlier. And then there's also a web series. I won't give too much away about it, but just imagine Sherlock Holmes, but with women.
Okay.
Right. But it's on my IMDb, actually. I'm playing Jane Watson.
Would
So
you?
yeah,
I
really,
actually,
really excited about
excellent.
that.
That's fantastic. I actually wrote a short story
Yeah.
with a Jennifer Watson last
Ah,
year. And I started to write a short story about that with a female Watson and a male Sherlock, and obviously, but she was I think she was the brains behind it, and he was just
yeah,
like a token because it was a male dominated era. So he was
yeah.
just the token male while she did all the work behind the scenes. So
Hmm.
I started to write. I've actually got 3 chapters. I'd start writing 3 chapters.
Ah,
It was
that's
yeah,
good.
it went to it. Yeah, so it's quite that'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to do that. As I say, I absolutely love the Sherlock Holmes story.
Yeah,
I've like, you know, all that sort of stuff like Jack the Ripper, Sherlock Holmes, and that. I've always been a massive, massive fan of it. So this is like a dream come true. You know,
yeah,
like a part I've always wanted to play, but never thought I would because I'm female.
yeah.
You know. So now that it's obviously having that spin on it, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it.
That'd be
You
fantastic.
know, so yeah, so we'll be filming that sort of, I think, April, May sort of time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
that's really good. So I'm really looking forward to it.
No, and I say we're not even out of January yet, and you've already had that 3 things there. So it's like it'll be hoping, big year, big year. I was going to say I
Yeah,
was smirking then because you mentioned obviously about Mohammed's question and obviously your sheriff. So now all I pictured then was your sheriff's going to come on screen to "We're walking on sunshine."
Wow. Yeah,
Sorry,
me old
that's
sheriff's badge and
yeah.
everything.
That's just what flashed through my mind as soon as I said it. I was like, no, don't say it, don't say it. Brilliant. So it kind of draws me to the end, I'm afraid, Charlene,
Yeah,
sadly, because it's been
that's
really
fine.
fun. I've got one final question. It's a signature
Yes.
question. I give my explanation through it all. It's not 2 years ago now. I don't really say last year, but obviously we're now
Yeah.
in 2019. I had a guy on who's he was in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and he was
Yeah.
also a puppeteer for Jim Henson for 30 years. He's had his
Okay.
hand up Kermit, Miss Piggy,
Yeah.
and everything like that. And you knocked the innuendo out of the way there. And but he's worked in Labyrinth and stuff like that. Basically,
Yeah.
someone sent a question in, and I thought it's such an excellent question. I have to ask everybody this, and I have tried
Go
to ask
for
as
it.
many people as I like. Depends on how I get on with people, because sometimes if I think obviously they're not that type of person, I thought, right, okay, I'll avoid it. But we've had a laugh. So if you could have a Muppet created after you, what kind of Muppet would it be, and why?
Oh God. A Muppet. So does it have to?
It
So
doesn't have
does
to
it
be
have
one
to be
that's.
one of them, or does it have to be something that's made up?
It can be
completely?
something that's made up. It can be one of the existing. You could have a mix of 2 or 3.
I'd probably have a mix of Miss Piggy for her feistiness, and maybe I don't know. God, what's that one with the hook nose? I can't remember his name.
Gonzo.
Gonzo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be a cross between them two. Because Gonzo, he's quite intelligent, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
So, but then,
Yeah.
is he intelligent? Is he the intelligent one?
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, kind of. I'm not that intelligent, so I'm kind of intelligent. So that's all right. So yeah, I hit Gonzo mixed with Miss Piggy, definitely. So it'd be like Goniggy, Goniggy Muppet.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, excellent. Sounds pretty good.
I've actually forgot to say that I am actually featured in a new show coming out in Netflix. I think it's end of February, beginning of March.
Okay.
With Idris Elba.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, called Turn Up Charlie. So tune in, everybody, for that.
Brilliant,
So
brilliant.
I'm in that.
Fantastic. No, that'd be great. Another one to watch.
I can't believe I forgot to say that.
Yeah. It's only Idris Elba, one of the biggest names at the moment in the UK.
Yeah, I know. So it's quite weird, really. Knowing that I've actually sat there and had a conversation with that guy. You know what I mean? He's a lovely, lovely guy. So humble. So yeah, it's brilliant. That will be that end of February, beginning of March on Netflix.
Fantastic. Everyone will keep an eye out for that. Is there anything you saved yourself from my impressions as well, by the way, which is cracking. You've diverted away now, so you've saved yourself. I could have serenaded you as Kermit. I know he's like, why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Oh wow, that was wicked. That was brilliant.
It's like, Piggy, need another stage, Piggy.
That is brilliant.
There you go. said I'd saved
You
you, but
could
you
be the
hadn't.
stand-in. You could be the stand-in for his voice.
I
You
could
know,
do, yeah.
the other one's got like a cold or something.
Unfortunately, that's all I can
Call
do.
you.
I'll be coughing for half an hour now. That's pretty much all I can do. It's like Donald Duck. Donald Duck says,
Oh, I can't. It makes
Yeah.
me cough when I do that.
Yeah, it does. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So, is anything? Well, before I stop recording, is there anything you'd like to say to people who are watching and listening to this?
For always follow your dreams, because they won't follow you. Work hard. Just work hard, and then you'll see results. That's all I have to say. You know,
Excellent.
yeah, as I say, and you do it positively. You know, with a positive mind. Don't procrastinate either. You know, just if you've got a goal, go and chase it. Stay focused.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you.